Hello and Happy New Year. It's the Chat, Chew, and You show, the first one for 2015. My name is Ivy Cooper. I'm the body relationship coach, and I am here with my lovely co host, Keisha.
Happy New Year, everybody!
And we are excited to have you here joining in with us for our first show for the new year. So let's start off introducing ourselves, Keisha, because it's a new year. We have new people watching us who might not know who we are, what the show is all about, and how interactive this show is and how everything goes. So, you want to go first?
Sure. So I want to touch on that interactivity. One is yes, Ivy and I can sit here and talk all day amongst ourselves, but we want you guys to interact with us, ask questions, provide answers to other people as they are asking questions and are curious about things, and just share your experience. That's what we're doing. So I am Keisha Brown, as we mentioned. I am the editor and founder of uncommonchick.com, where I help women, freedom-seeking women, create better business, bodies, and lives. And so that's what that community is all about. And I am so happy to be here again. Happy New Year.
Awesome. And I am Ivy Cooper, also known as Ivy LaArtista, the body relationship coach. And that means that I help people of all genders, ages, and sizes build healthy, loving relationships with body and self. I'm a certified holistic health coach as of 2014, so I'm really excited about that.
I'll be right behind you.
Yes, Keisha is joining me, guys. So, how are you enjoying that so far?
Awesome. I am, I think a little bit more than halfway through. We're about at the 6-month mark. So I'm excited. I mean, learning so much, and that I'm just using personally for myself as well as my family, and things that I'm learning in the nutrition school. So it's been awesome. I can't wait to really ramp up on that journey.
Yes, both Keisha and I are students of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I graduated last year, and she's coming along this year, graduating soon. So that's what we're talking about. And actually, next week, Keisha is National Health and Wellness Coach Week. So, yeah, I'm like excited about that.
Awesome. All right, and then one other thing I want to mention is in the title, you guys, the show is Chat, Chew, and You, right? So Ivy and I usually will have something that we're munching on, or as of today, I'll share with you, I have my mango kale smoothie king, big gulp smoothie here, my juices that I'm drinking tonight. So I don't have anything I'm physically munching on, but I do have my drink with me. And of course, I have my water. So that's what I am chewing on tonight. What about you, Ivy?
You know what? We have a lot of synchronicity going on today because I was in the kitchen and I was like I have berries over here, guys. And I was like, oh, I should make a smoothie because I could just like sip during the show. But I was like, I don't have time to make a smoothie. But I really, really I thought about that. Like, I was like, oh, I should make a smoothie because I had one this morning. And for some reason, it's like I've been craving them this week. So I feel like my body is probably just craving more like fresh fruits and veggies because in the wintertime, I get some veggies, but not as much as like during the summer when I'm constantly eating fruits because more fruits are in season. So I'm just craving them now.
All right.
So I just have my berries over here for now.
That's okay. That'll do.
Yeah, it'll ease the craving and it gives me my snack for the night.
Fabulous.
So you ready to dive into our topic for the night?
Let's dive into some dieting stuff.
Well, guys, it is the new year, and you know how it goes. Every new year, probably since you've been conscious of what a new year means, people around the new year get into resolutions, new year, new you. How many times have you seen that, read that, heard that in the past like 2 weeks at least, right? Everyone's talking about renewing themselves, becoming a new version of themselves. And one of the major things right now with resolutions, the thing that tops the list is dieting or weight loss. That's the number one thing that people put down as their first resolution, with fitness and money coming behind that. So we wanted to focus on that in this week's chat and talk about the holistically healthy alternatives to improving your health and wellness. But let's break down this whole dieting fiasco that we have going on right now in our society, the good, the fat, and the ugly of it.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know what, Ivy, I'm telling you, every year we should probably put in to go get us a gym or something, because that's when they really make some money. It's like the first 2 to 3 months. We could be balling.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what. The other day, because I'm into like paying attention to what stocks are gonna do well, right? And I thought about, I was like, you know what? I could make some money off some Weight Watchers. if I was an ethically like, I shouldn't do that, because you know that every year, certain diets or gym membership, all of that is gonna like skyrocket towards the end of December, early January. It just is so predictable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I feel you.
All right.
So let's get into I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just gonna rock it off. Let's go. Let's get started.
Well, you want to talk about what do we mean by dieting?
Well, what most people mean by dieting is not eating enough. That's the first thing. I'm going to not eat this, this, and this. So first we got not eating enough. Secondly, we have getting rid of, or like going cold turkey, or eliminating a whole group of foods, right, that you're normally eating. And then you decide, you know what, I'm not going to eat carbs for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Or back to the first one, not eating enough. I'm just gonna, eat a banana today, and then tomorrow I'm just gonna drink some water, and then I'm gonna do the cotton ball diet. I'm gonna just wipe my mouth with some cotton balls. I mean, it's just so. Okay, I don't mean to be offending anyone with all these fad diets and stuff out here, but come on, guys, you guys know how crazy some of this stuff ends up being, right? It was one particularly Hollywood celebrity diet, which was the juice. It was some like bottle of juice. I don't know if you remember that, where it's this 48 hours or something, you drink juice for 2 days or what have you.
I don't remember that one.
This was a few years ago. As a matter of fact, I think it was still in Walgreens the last time I looked. Wow. And I'm like, really? They still selling that one? But yeah, it's kind of like I did know a couple people that drank the juice for a couple of days. And this is not, I'm not talking about juicing. We all know the benefits of, getting in our nutrition and stuff from fruits and vegetables. This is just drinking some grape juice or whatever that somebody threw on the shelf that I could have probably made up, and I'm mad I didn't.
Right.
But yeah, all these different crazy things people get into. And I understand. Okay, Ivy, so you and I both know that when we are first starting something, the first thing people want to do is see quick results. And I'm one of them, right? Like, I want to know that this is going to work for me, which is completely fine. Oh, I think, did we lose Ivy?
I'm here.
Oh, this video. Okay. So that's completely fine and wanting to see some quick results, but I think people go to extreme because they don't really know. I think they really don't know, and then two, they're just, wanting something so too quick where it causes a whole bunch of different other issues with their bodies and, ultimately their lives with stress and issues and all types of stuff. They might end up in a hospital somewhere, so y'all pay attention to this stuff now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The biggest question that comes up is the why. First of all, like, why is dieting such a big focus during this time of the year? Like you said, it kind of follows suit with resolutions. You know, we want to make improvements. We're focused on, okay, what did I do last year that I would like to change this year? What are some of my goals? What is it that I've always wanted to be or do or accomplish? And for a lot of us, you know, our health comes to mind first. And oftentimes when we think about health and wellness, weight loss and dieting is the very first thing that comes to our mind. Some of that is because we've been socialized to think that way, and then some of it is because it is a reality of, you know, some of the things that some of us need to do as far as adjustments for our health and wellness. So I think that oftentimes we don't trust our own inner voice about what we need for our bodies. We go to the experts who are, of course, using their position of authority and their marketing skills to convince us that we need these certain, you know, products or diets or programs, and it's going to help us finally accomplish what we've always wanted to accomplish, or finally be what we've always wanted to be, or get that body you've always wanted. So we kind of just fall into it. And I know that I have been there time and time again. I personally have been on so many diets. So I understand, like, you know, that desire, that deep desire to finally try to have that body that we think would be more acceptable by society and that we think would appear to be more healthy. And so we kind of get into that pattern and start going that way, like you said, unknowingly.
Exactly, exactly. I don't know. You know, one of the things that grinds my gears is um, we focus so much on that. Yes, it's one of those things that society pushes on us, but that doesn't mean we have to take it. I think it all starts with us. If we start to realize how much power we have to
Yes.
to do what we say we want to do, and I'm talking to myself now too, right? If we realize how much power we have to do what we say we want to do, we wouldn't need all of that marketing, all of
Yes.
the new products that come out every single year. This one is going to be the one that's going to make you lose 80 pounds in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like we wouldn't be susceptible to that. We wouldn't, you know, pay attention to that. It would fall off our ears as soon as we heard it, if that was the case. But which is why we're here. We want to talk about some of that. We want to get the minds of those listening to understand you have everything you need within you to do what it is you say you want to do. And instead of looking externally to all of the dieting information out there, all the fat stuff that's going on, or, you know, who lost 80 pounds in 3 days, and how can you do it too? You know, I think it's more about, we'll get to this a little bit later too, about some alternatives to actually dieting that you can do, but just understand and know you really don't need much of anything, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll say this too, we have our certified health coach and one upcoming here, but just to know that if you ever need any additional assistance, please go see your doctor or, you know, a holistic practitioner or somebody that can help you muddle through all of the information that you get. I remember I vowed to myself a long time ago, I'm not reading another article about how to, you know, lose weight or whatever. I already know how. I've done it before. You know what I mean? And I know that, yes, as we get older, some things may need to be tweaked and changed when I'm not 20 anymore. You know what I mean? But I don't need another article or an expert to tell me that I need to drink water and eat fruits and vegetables and intuitively understand what my body needs and know what hurts me and what doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that's what grinds my gears about the whole dieting thing.
But you know, like a lot of that comes in with self-trust, right? You know, my thing is body relationship. And it's like until you build a relationship, I always liken it to an external relationship. I mean, think about familial, friend, romantic, whatever. Until you truly build a relationship with someone, you don't really trust them. So you can't really trust the messages that you're getting. You can't trust the signals that you're getting until you truly get to know that person. And it's the same way with your body. It's like, we'll continue to look outside for external validation, external information, external cues, and all of this to tell us about our bodies until we realize that, just like you're saying, the messages that we need are already there. What did people do before there were dietitians, and not saying anything against anyone in any particular field, but before there were those particular fields or professionals, what were people doing to know when they were hungry and when to eat and how much water to drink and all? What did they do? They had to go by their internal cues. And so I strongly believe that we were created with everything that we need in order to survive and thrive in life. But a lot of times we have tuned out from those messages, and we've learned to start listening to other people, and we've gotten away from ourselves, and we've gotten away from ourselves, and we've disconnected from our bodies. And that's why we don't know what to do. We don't know how much is enough food. So we listen to other people say it's this many calories or this many glasses of water or this, because we don't know how to listen to the messages that our bodies are sending us because we're disconnected from them. But when we reconnect with our bodies and we start building healthy relationship with our bodies and we learn about the cues, then we realize, oh, you know what? I do know that doesn't feel great when I eat that food, but I feel energized when I eat this food. Or that's too much, or maybe I should eat a little more often when I work out and a little less when I don't, because this is how I feel. We learn, right?
I'll give you another example, too, about food and energy management, right? So, and I may have even mentioned this to you guys before on this show, but I remember one time I went to go out to eat at lunch, and I had a lot of items on my to-do list that day, but what did I do? I ate a huge lunch, right? And so what is my body doing after lunch with all of that food? Thank you. I got like straight itis, and my body was like, dude, I ain't got energy for nothing else. I need to digest all this crap you just gave me. Yep. So I need you to chill out and go to sleep for a little while till I get done. That's what my body was telling me, right? Well, my lesson learned is in order to manage my energy, in order to that day I did have a lot of stuff I needed to get done. I did not have time to be laying around sleeping off some food. So,
right.
My idea from that is, you know what? Yes, I do know when enough is enough. And I do know I ate too much at that lunchtime. And I do know that doing that causes me to not do other things that I know I need to do. And so managing what you're doing with your body, you know this inherently, guys. Trust that you do. I love what Ivy said about trusting yourselves, because otherwise you're just, shooting in the dark. But seriously, I told myself that time, with all of these items that I need to do, if I know that afternoon is I have to do a lot of work, then I cannot eat that heavy during the day, because that's when I need to get a lot of stuff done. Then I need to eat light. I need to keep my snacks. So my body was like, nope, you can't do anything else. So trust me, I remember that. And it's just one of those things. You have to listen well. We listen to everybody else. Let's start listening to the body. It's talking to us, just not hearing.
Definitely. And another thing is, something that I tell my clients is that it doesn't happen overnight. Like building that body relationship, and just like any other relationship, it doesn't happen overnight. Learning that communication, learning the cues, learning to trust, it doesn't happen overnight. And I think a lot of times with the diets, particularly with the fad diets, we want a fast, quick fix. It's like, look, spring is coming. I got to have the bomb body. I don't have time to try to figure this out. I'm just trying to get to that swimsuit or those shorts or whatever it is, or whatever that ideal, person that we want to look like by summer or whatever. And so what happens is we get in this cyclical situation, right? Because we come into this time of year and we say, oh my gosh, I got to lose like 50 pounds by April. And so we get on this intense race to get to a certain number by a certain time. And then maybe we do, maybe we don't accomplish that. And then, okay, let's say we accomplish that number. Then we kind of get on the journey where, okay, this is not something that's going to last forever, because maybe we did a really intense diet that's not something that is sustainable. So by the time we do get to April or May, now we're starting to eat like quote unquote normal, and the pounds start coming back on, and then we start feeling that frustration with ourselves, and then we say, you know what, okay, to heck with it all. This doesn't work, and then we throw in the towel, and then by the time we get to Thanksgiving, Christmas, we're back at the whole eating frenzy again, and then New Year's comes around, we're like, oh, I'm gonna do it this year, and we just keep going. And every year, what happens is we actually, and if we're focusing on the weight, we end up gaining more and more weight.
Exactly.
And
by the time December roll around again, not only have you gained that 50 back, but 20 more.
Right. And the statistics prove that happens. That most people who start out on a diet, end up falling off of that diet, and then they end up gaining more weight back. And so it's kind of counterproductive when you're focusing on that. But it's kind of slow and steady wins the race. If you're willing to take time to build that body relationship, learn the cues, and learn behaviors that you can sustain for your entire life, learning what really fills you up, what makes you feel great, what gives you energy, what helps you think better, what gives you more clarity. Like when you learn those things about yourself, that's something you can take throughout your whole life, not just a fast dash to a certain number on the scale or in the dressing room.
And I want to touch on that too. Two things. One, that whole number on a scale issue. So we all know, or most of us, have been in the doctor's office, and there's this little chart that says between these ages or this range, at this height, you need to be, weighing about this much. This is your ideal weight, right? And every time I saw that chart, and even when I was younger, I was not, big at all. I was regular average, so to speak, right? But even in high school, that chart didn't fit me. I was 145, about 5'7" or so in high school, and it's like it was supposed to be lower than. I'm like, dude, I'm a little bit taller than the average girl, but I'm supposed to weigh 125. Really? That was too skinny for me. I was like, that is way too small. But, we go by that, and wherever these numbers come from, wherever these charts come from, I don't know if they're old, outdated, whatever it is, I know that a lot of people try to aim to that, and they have these unrealistic goals of, I need to be, 120 something, because, in many movies I've seen, the woman is always on 120, on 120, on 125. I'm like, is that the magic number or something? I don't know. Is everybody supposed to be 120? That I don't know. My bones won't take it. I need more meat than that on my bones. But, but so, when we think about that type of stuff, it's like, one, in order to do what you just said, Ivy, and that's to listen to yourself, understand what you really want, your body knows what it wants too. And it knows, it knows that it has a set point range. And that's a whole other topic I think we can talk about it some other time. But I do truly believe that our bodies have this point where it's like, I'm here. I'm happy. This is ideal. I can function at 100% optimal level at wherever I am right now. And whether that's, whatever size it is or whatever number it is, it knows. We don't have to say, nope, I need 5 more pounds, body, give me 5 more pounds. And here you are busting your balls trying to lose 5 more pounds. And your body is it's rejecting it because it's like, dude, I'm cool where I am. And those are other cues we don't listen to and understand, because either we're going off another number, we're going off what the doctor said. Not to say anything about doctors, y'all know that's not what we're saying, but more so along the lines of what do you feel is best for what you need, and you know this intuitively. We just have to start listening to it.
Yes, yes. And that when you were talking about that, Keisha, that made me think about the article, and I can definitely put this link up for you all after the show so that you can have access to it. But it was in the Daily Life by Casey Edwards, and she interviewed Dr. Rick Kosman of If Not Dieting, Then What? That's the name of the book. And one of the things that he said was, you can't measure someone's ideal weight from a chart. And if we're measuring health, then weight is the wrong measure. Health is much more complex than a number. And that really stuck with me because I mean, I firmly believe, and I know this is a controversial topic for some people, but, a lot of times we want to put our weight or we want to measure our health by numbers, be it a size or a particular weight. And let's say, for example, you said 120. So this has always been my theory, and I really want to invite you all to think about this. Give us your questions, your comments. We'll read them. We'll bring it into the conversation. But if the number is 120 for healthy, right? This is just the arbitrary number.
First of all, you'll be calling them people on me because I'll be looking like a skeleton. Go ahead.
If the number is 120, right, just the arbitrary number, let's say it's 120. So you finally get to 120 today. If you wake up tomorrow morning and you're 121, are you not healthy anymore? I mean, and I'm really not even being sarcastic. This has always been in my head. If we have this one ideal number, and if you're off either way off of that number, does that suddenly make you less? Are you more healthy because you're 119 and then less healthy because you're 121? I mean, how do we put ourselves and almost bind ourselves to these numbers and define our entire health and existence and our relationship with our bodies and how we feel about ourselves by these numbers?
That is hilarious. I'm sorry, that is funny. At 119, it's like you balling out of control, and then at 118 or 120, 121, you crying.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a reality for a lot of people. And that's the thing. Like, I have been, and I've blogged about it, I've been that person who weighed myself more than once a day. And this wasn't that long. This was probably under 7 years ago, where I would go and I'd weigh myself, then I'd go work out, then I'd come back and I'd weigh myself again. Like, that's how addicted I was to the scale, because it was like this fixation with this number. Or I'd weigh myself in the morning and then go throughout the day, and then before I went to bed I'd weigh myself again, and I'd weigh 3-4 more pounds at the end of the night. And I'm like, what did I do to one day that changed? And I would really be, I mean, honestly, like, it was a serious body hate issue that I had, because I would be so frustrated with my body. Like, Dad, you just got off the treadmill, or you just came home from dance class, and you're 5 pounds more than you were this morning. So not taking into account that you have water weight gain, throughout the day, that I had eaten 2 or 3 meals throughout the day, that you always weigh less in the morning than you do in the afternoon or the evening. It was just this being bound to this number. So I think that a lot of us are measuring our health by those numbers.
And you know what? There's another thing, too, that goes along with all of that. Drastic measure type of thing, and a lot of people don't think about those who over-exercise. We always think about those who, don't do enough, and we all know about, diseases like bulimia, anorexia. We know all about those. But those who over-exercise actually is I don't know if this is something new happening nowadays. Maybe I'm just learning more about it. But, I mean, people are actually killing themselves, literally killing themselves because they are over-exercising and over-stimulating their bodies and minds. It's not just the body, it's the mind, too, to keep up with all of this, right? Mm-hmm. So, the heart may fail. There's all types of things that can happen. But chronic exercise is something to look out for. So, I believe that you may have seen these as well, Ivy. A lot of people may have seen the charts that says if you eat a donut, you got to walk, 80 miles to work it off, that type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, some people are actually doing that. They are, eating something. They'll go to McDonald's, they'll eat a burger. All I have to do is run on the treadmill for 60 minutes. And they're doing that not knowing, because it's just lack of information and education, not knowing that's not how it works. That's another controversial topic is calories in, calorie equals calories out. That you'll get either you lose weight or gain weight based on calories. Well, we may need to have a whole nother show about that one, Ivy, to talk about some of those concepts. But, so people do think that if I have 1,400 calories today, then I need to release 1,500 calories so that I can, lose weight. Doesn't happen like that. That is not how the body works. You understand that you are actually, using energy at rest. So you didn't take into account that. You didn't take into account your body using energy from the food you eat. All those types of things. So people, we have to, go talk to someone if you really don't understand how the body works. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to learn it. Just help you with how these things work so that you won't over-exercise and hurt yourself, physically or emotionally. And then the emotional effects are kind of what Ivy alluded to, is you have this hate relationship with the body. A lot of us have been there, including myself. We have a hate relationship with our bodies. It's not doing what we want it to do when we want it to do it, but we're not letting it do it properly. We're not giving it the proper stuff it needs. And so you're probably going to hear me say this all the time. Just get some help, some trusted help if you need it. But then also still listen to you, though, in the end. Whatever assistance you get, make sure you try it out, see what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And, I can hear some people out there saying, well, like, where do I start, right? Like, how do I start learning how to trust my body? Because leave it to me, I'll be eating boxes of donuts and saying that, yeah, my body told me to do this. So I know, guys.
That just made me bust out laughing like that, man.
I know. And you know what that is, right? It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We don't believe that we can trust ourselves, so we feel like, left to my own devices, I will ruin myself. If I don't have someone telling me what to do, if I don't have this particular diet program or this particular person or whatever telling me what I should eat and when I should eat, how I should eat, I will ruin myself. And what happens is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because we believe that. Yep. Then if we go and try it, it doesn't work. But here's the thing. This shows you how powerful the mind is, guys. When you go to that diet program or whatever that person is that's telling you what to eat, how come you can listen to them and do what they tell you to do for a certain amount of time? Because you want to get to a particular goal for a certain amount of time. You know why? Because in your mind, you believe that that person is telling you the truth, and you believe that they have the key to you accomplishing your goals, and you believe that you can accomplish what they say. So it's not necessarily that this other person is so much more equipped on your body than you, because they're not actually. But it's your own belief. You believe more in that other person or that external message or that external guidance than you do in yourself and in your ability to navigate your body and your food relationships.
Can you go ahead and drop the mic on that one? I'm just need you to drop the mic and turn the video off. We're done, son. I mean, we're pretty much done on that one.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to make, just get us to open up our minds, because I have been on, I'm going to leave the labels and brands out, but I have been on a particular diet where you go weekly. They give you so many points and you that you can have to eat, and you take those points and they tell you, oh, you can eat this, you can't eat that, and then you every week you go and you weigh in and you go, it's like, I lost 2 more pounds. I have done that before. I lost 30, 40 pounds, and then as soon as I stopped, it all went to hell. Do you know why? Because I believed in that system more than I believed in myself. So I believe, I mean, they were doing nothing. All they did was tell me, this is how many points you can eat a day, and then come back next week and we'll weigh you. That's it. But I was successfully releasing weight and managing my food. No one was there guiding me. I didn't have like a coach or anything like that there that was helping me, but I was doing it successfully. But the minute I stopped that program, I fell off. All in your head. It's all in your head.
It really is. I mean, it's so easy for us to say that, but in a nutshell, I mean, for real, that's what it's all about. And another question I can hear happening is, okay, you two guys are health coaches. Then you are telling us to listen to ourselves, and we should be more intuitive. Then why do we need you? Let's go ahead and address that right now, so we won't get that messed up.
I can answer that one.
Go ahead, take that
one. Well, the reason that it would be great for you to work with me would be because, honestly, because I am the body relationship coach. So what my goal is not for you to be dependent on me, or for me to sit there and rule over you, control you, tell you exactly what you should be doing. My goal is to teach you how to relate to yourself and your body. So when you're saying, oh, where do I start at? That's what I'm here for. To teach you how to reconnect with your body, learn to listen to your cues, learn to listen to what your body is saying, learn to build body trust so that you can go out and do it on your own. I am successful. If we can get to the point where you're saying, you know what, I know when I'm hungry. You know what, I know when I'm full. I know when I need more water, because these are the signs that I'm thirsty. I know that that particular food makes me feel like crap and this food makes me feel awesome. When you get to that point, then that means I've done my job, and that's what I'm here to help you learn how to do.
Boom. Y'all got that. Exactly. I just wanted to make sure we address that. Okay, we can move on.
Well, did you want to explain what you do? Because I have a question over here, actually, in my question box.
Okay, all right. Yeah, basically,
go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, in that, no, I am not one, and I never will be one to create plans for people and say, eat this and only eat this strictly, follow exactly what I say for 3 weeks. No ifs, ands, and buts, because I've had that done to me before, and I hated it. You know what I mean? It's like, I thought this is what I had to do because I didn't know how to feed myself, obviously, because I was, I'm all out of shape, right? So it's like, I felt like I had to go to somebody else, let them tell me exactly what to eat, and then I'll be okay. The problem with that is, okay, well, what am I going to do when this person is gone? That's one. Yeah. And then number two, the stuff on here I don't like. I don't even eat strawberries. Why are you putting strawberries on here? I don't, you know what I'm saying? So that failed completely. Not the plan, because many people have lost weight on the plan that I was given. It just didn't work for me because this is now how I roll. You know what I mean? So that is never going to be me. I'm not going to be, like you said, ruling over people saying this is what you need to do. It's more so about how to actually pay attention to you, how to get to know you. And so that will be my role in helping people. Once you get that piece, everything else is gravy. And we're not just talking about health. We're talking about everything else in your life as well.
Yeah, yeah. And we have that coming up, actually, talking about the other parts and how dieting affects the other parts of who we are. But I have a question that actually relates to our current topic. And okay, it should show up for you guys now. It's Joy. Hi, Joy.
Hey, Joy.
She asked, can you speak more about how you each transition from trusting others to trusting yourself? You want to go first, Keisha?
I sure can. All right, so Joy, I even mentioned earlier, it's not going to be overnight for the most part, right? What happens for me is, and even to this day, what happens for me is I put myself in an open, trying attitude, wherein I will just try stuff, see how it works for me, see how I feel. I mentioned earlier how if I ate a certain combo of foods, it didn't do well for me, and I was feeling lethargic, and I was tired, and it doesn't matter what time of day. This combination of food that I had, I know doesn't work for me. So do I need to have more protein on my plate? Let's try that. Let's see how that feels for me. So for me, it's trial and error. And you know what? I don't even want to say trial and error because there is no error. I mean, once I figure out what works, then it's trial and success. Then I go on to something else. So let's go ahead and say that, right? And then, as far as amounts of water, we hear, oh, if you weigh, 200 pounds, you need to have your body weight, 100 ounces, what have you. I've practiced with that too. Let me drink 120 ounces, so it matches my body weight, and then let me go ahead and try to go that down. That didn't work well for me because one, I couldn't get all that water in as much as I tried, and when I did, it was just like, okay. Now what? I didn't feel any different, didn't feel any better. It's not like, I'm thirsty all the time anyway. It's just that I had to figure out what works for me. So now I even have it here. This is 32 ounces, and I drink at least 3 of these a day, and my body feels great. I feel good. I don't, I haven't lost some energy or anything like that. And I'm not dehydrated. So, that's 90-something ounces. It's almost 100 ounces, but that's what works for me. And when I don't get in at least 2 of these, that's when I feel bad. But I didn't know that until that happened. And so that idea for you is to take that and say, okay, here's where I'm going to start. You have to pick an arbitrary point. It's not going to be right or wrong. Just pick an arbitrary point and say, today I'm going to, fix these amount of meals I think will work for me, what I like, what has been shown to be healthy or nutritional. Let's just try it. As a matter of fact, Ivy, today you saw that I tried chia seeds, right?
Yeah.
So I put that in my smoothie. Heck, I didn't even have to eat till about 5 o'clock that day because I was still full.
Those chia seeds will do it. They will fill you up.
I was like, did I put too much in there or something? What the heck happened? But I listened. That's like I just kept drinking water. I didn't have a need to eat. And the whole eating 5 or 6 times a day, whole other topic. But that didn't work for me either. I tried that too. It doesn't work with my schedule. So it's just like trying to figure out what works for you. And it's going to be, you got to put a little bit of effort in there and trying different things. That would be my answer.
I agree. Mine was definitely trial and, I did feel like mine was trial and error. I did feel like there was some error in there, but I understand what you're saying. Like everything is a learning point. But yeah, Joy and everyone else, it did not come overnight. It was a long road to get to here to where it's like I'm very tuned into my body, and I know what works for me and what doesn't, and I'm very confident in my body, meaning like the signals that I get from my body. But like Keisha said, it just started out with me trying different things. Like, okay, like I've been challenged by insulin resistance, so I have more of a sensitivity to glucose and sugar in my food. So, sometimes I would eat particular fruits and it would be like, whoa, like I'm feeling loopy in my head, and it's just a little, and I realized, like, I remember one day at my former job, I got in this thing of pears, and I was eating pears, and every time I would eat a pear, I would be in my desk sleep. And I never connected it at first, but I was like, man, I keep falling through my desk. And then one day, I looked at the pear by this, I was like, I bet you it's these pears that I'm eating. And I went and I looked it up and I realized that pears have a very high are very high on the glycemic index. So I was like, okay, so this isn't the best thing for me. But then as I went on, I learned that my higher glycemic fruits, meaning the fruits that are higher than in sugar, to pair them with protein. So like to eat them with nuts. So now I don't usually just have fruit by itself. I'll have fruit and nuts, or fruit and a very healthy fat, like an almond butter, or that's still nuts, or or a 100% natural cheese, or something like that. That way, my body's not absorbing the sugar too fast. It's processing it very slowly over time. So those are things that I learned. Some of it is things that I read, but it requires patience with yourself, for sure. Um, Patience is the biggest thing. It requires patience. It requires releasing judgment and shame, because sometimes you're going to be eating things and you're going to look and you're going to say, "Ooh, my jeans are a little bit tighter. What's going on here?" And you can think back, you know what? I had a lot of breads and pastas over the past month. Maybe I need to cut that out and have more lean proteins and vegetables. And then you say, "Oh, you know what? When I'm not eating bread, I feel good. I feel awesome. Bread really weighs me down and makes me sleepy." Just listening to your body cues. And the thing is, because we're so used to other people telling us what's good for us, sometimes we don't know the cues yet. Sometimes, we don't even notice what it means to, like you said, Keisha, to eat something and then feel lethargic. We just feel like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired." But we don't connect it to that it's something that we ate, or that we haven't drank any water for the past 2 days. And so we're dehydrated. But those are things that I've learned over time. Like, sometimes my lips will get a little dry, or I'll notice that my fingernails get brittle, or my hair is dry. And you know what? I need to take in more water. I need to take in more healthy fats. I need to eat more fruits and veggies, because I'm seeing that, my nutrients are being depleted in my body. But of course, like we said earlier, if you need help with those things, you can always reach out to us, and we can help you get into the mode where you can learn along the way how to trust yourself. Start with a walker, and then like a baby, you have your walker, and then later on you're like, "You know what? I can get rid of the walker. I can try walking on my own now." But you might need help at first. You might not be able to do it all by yourself at the beginning.
And then I also have one more suggestion too. For anybody that's listening to start out, definitely go get your nutritional panels done, or as far as understanding where you are right now. Go and get your blood sugar tested. Just go and get your numbers. Basically, you want to see where you are, so that as you start making changes, you can converse back with your doctor or any other health coach or anybody that you're working with to say, "You know what I'm doing is actually working, because my cholesterol level's going down. I'm feeling this way. My vitamins I'm not as deficient in minerals." So yes, right now, as of today, just go ahead and pick the phone. Maybe not right now. Okay, tomorrow morning, call your doctor and set up an appointment. Make sure if you need to be fasting or not. They'll tell you all of that the night before. But just go and get those numbers done, because not until you actually chart that stuff out can you see what's actually working for you too. So in addition to everything else we said, get that done too. Highly important. I had it done. I was low in vitamin D. I was low in iron. I couldn't figure out why I was tired. I'm usually never tired. I always have energy. But then I was like, what the heck is happening with me? I was low in D, low in iron, and he told me to take multivitamin. I had to take 50,000 IUs per week of vitamin D. All this type of stuff. And now I'm back to my regular self. So you just never know.
Yes, that's an awesome point, Keisha, is getting those know your numbers, meaning your not the scale and the gene size. But yeah, that's a great point. And that's something that, like, when I first start out with the client, we do, of course, we do the assessment at the beginning. And then I also ask them to, what was the last time they went to the doctors, and hasn't been recently. I ask them to get their numbers, because that really helps you start from there, knowing what the issues are, because that'll help you know, like you said, what's depleted. So it's no point in eating foods that are going to be detrimental to your body, because everybody's different. Like I said, I'm more sensitive to sugars, so I know I can't be out here popping pineapple and strawberries all day, because that's not that's not going to be beneficial for me. So yeah, that's an awesome suggestion. Thank you, Joy. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to shut down your question. Keisha, did you want to talk about what are some alternatives to diet, since we're coming closer to the end of the show, that we can leave people with alternatives to dieting, so that they can know where they can kind of go from here and how they can get started on some holistically healthy options?
Okay. Well, one of them that has been high in research and news lately is intuitively eating. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't heard of that, intuitive eating, I would suggest, just Google it. The first couple of resources that come up, reliable resources, that is. Just look at it. And basically, in a nutshell, it's what we've been saying this entire show, listening to your internal cues, right? Right. I will tell you this, though. The only issue with that is because we don't know what those cues would be, or because we haven't been listening enough for them, maybe we don't know. So that's where getting some additional help will kind of help you get started on that particular level. But in a nutshell, just look up intuitive eating, knowing when to put the fork down, knowing when to stop eating, even if it's food on your plate. Honey, I know, you guys, I know how many times we've been told when we were little, eat all your food on your plate. Well, as an adult, you do not have to do that. And regardless of how many morsels of food you leave on your plate, people somewhere else are still going to be starving. So don't make that your excuse.
Right.
And then also another thing that I've told myself over the years is don't make yourself the trash can. If you're done eating, why keep eating food that needs to be in the trash? You're basically treating yourself like a dump. Don't do it. So all of that is part of intuitively understanding yourself, understanding who you are, how you behave, and just taking a moment with your food. I mean, we can have a whole nother discussion too about how to eat in such a way that it feels good when you're doing it. Not, oh my God, it's 10 minutes later. What the heck did I just eat? And what did it even taste like? You know what I mean? What did your food taste like? If you don't know, then you weren't eating. You were swallowing. I don't know what you were doing. Mm-hmm. So that's one suggestion I would have, is learning about intuitive eating and taking all the cues we talked about tonight into that, and take that into consideration. What about you, Ivy?
Awesome. Yeah. I want to give some really simple tips.
Okay.
That you can, like, not saying this church, but I just want to make sure that I help you guys walk away with some simple tips. So if you have a pen or a pencil or keyboard or however you want to take these notes, the first thing I want to say is add in before you take out. And I'm sure you're familiar with that, Keisha. That's something that we've learned. But definitely the crowding out is an awesome thing to do. And what does that mean? That means start adding in your healthy vegetables, your healthy fruits, more water before you try to start throwing stuff out. Because a lot of times if we get into that mode of restriction first, you know how we are. We always want what we can't have, and then it's really hard when you're like, okay, I'm giving up sugar and caffeine and wheat and bread and carbs. And it makes it really hard. But if you just start adding in, so that means add more vegetables to each meal that you have, or more fruits or vegetables to each meal that you have. just start adding that in. Add more water throughout your day. If you're not drinking water, start. If you're already drinking water, add more in. Simple things like that. Just start adding in more healthy behaviors before you try to get rid of things. And what will happen is that as you add in more of the healthy foods and healthier habits, it'll start to crowd out some of the things that you don't want to do. And the way that our body works is the more healthy foods we eat, the more we'll crave. So that's a good way to get started on that. Another thing that I wanted to mention was eat as close to nature, or as they say, the source, as possible. So that means eating as close to original natural foods as possible. So staying away from a lot of preservatives, processed foods. If you, when you try to get foods, if you do get things that are packaged, try not to get things that have like 15 ingredients on the, on the label. Right. You want to get things like the more ingredients, the more chemicals and processed items are in that food. You want to get as close to the source, as close to the natural food as possible. If it's something that you can't grow on a farm or it's not found in nature, it's probably not healthy for you. Like I told someone the other day, and they had some Oreos, and I said, okay, where does an Oreo grow? Like
hey, where is blasphemy? Talking about Oreos.
Where in nature can you pick an Oreo?
Never seen an Oreo tree?
Does it come from a tree? Is it out there on the farm?
Have you never seen
the Oreo animals? Where does these Oreos come from? Doritos. What exactly? Where does the Dorito grow? And what exactly are Doritos made from? Because do we really know? I mean, if you can't think automatically, like, oh, I know exactly where that comes from, then applesauce, we know it's apples, right? Okay, I mean, that's a little closer to the source than Doritos. So the closer to the original source, the closer to nature, the better. Those are some easy things to get you started. And last but not least, reduce added sugars. Sugars have become the demon and the bad guy, but if possible, pay attention to your sugar intake as much as possible, because there is sugar in everything. So you can't not eat any sugar. I mean, you can, but it's hard. But just to be realistic, pay more attention to those added sugars that are in, hidden sugars that are in some of your food, and try to bring that down as much as possible, and stick with natural sweeteners or natural sugars like fruits and things like that.
Awesome. And then we have a question too that asks, will we have these tips as a checklist or something that we can share with people afterwards? Yes, we can put this together for you guys and put it up on the blog and the event sites. We'll post what Ivy was mentioning to you later, a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. And also, guys, like an awesome thing to do, get on the mailing list, because our first newsletter for this year is going to be coming out soon. We actually had a couple people that signed up today. So go ahead and if you go to chatchewindyou.com, then you can sign up for our mailing list and our newsletter, and that way you can get this kind of stuff coming to your inbox all the time, and you can find out about our special events that are coming up. Another thing, Keisha, if you don't mind me mentioning, is guys, send us messages. We want to hear back from you, feedback about what is helping you from the shows, what you learn, what you'd like to see, what you'd like us to talk about more. We have some things lined up, but if there are things that you want to hear about, those are the things we want to talk about.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Is that it for the questions in the room? Do we have any more over there that we need to address?
No, that is it for now.
I'm over here dropping my strawberries. Okay, well, This hour seems like it went by kind of fast.
I know.
We are this year, guys. We're gonna have some guests, some featured guests with us that will be coming up. I am tongue tied. That will be coming up. So we're really excited about that coming this year. So now that you guys have gotten used to the format and how everything goes, we're going to bring some new people in here so you can hear from some other authorities and experts and not just us. Although
Not that you guys don't want to. Right, exactly. That's what I was going to say. We'll bring some new people into the fold, get to know some of our peeps and all that good stuff.
Yeah, our tribe. You can meet our tribe. So Keisha, if anyone is interested in working with you or getting support from you, what's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me at anywhere, Uncommon Chick, all over the place on all social media accounts. But you can also just go to my website, uncommonchick.com, or just shoot me an email, info@uncommonchick.com, and let's talk.
Awesome. For me, you can reach me at seebodyloveself.org. As far as any of the interwebs, I'm under See Body Love Self for most of them. Some of them is still LaArtista. You can also email me, ivy@seebodyloveself.org. And you can call me. Call me 404-997-8814 and leave me a message.
I thought you were going to start singing, like you were going to, take us off by singing us out.
Like Twink. It's extra for that. It's extra.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm going to put a pay now button on the event site next time.
Right. It's like you got to feed the meter. If you want me to sing, like the old jukebox, you got to put the quarter in. Well, guys, I have had an awesome time again. I love the Chat with You show. I love the fact that it's interactive and we can get questions from you guys and dialogue. We definitely want you guys to interact more. Please don't feel like you can't send us your questions. And if you want them to be anonymous, you can always email us ahead of time and send us your questions, and we can ask them anonymously if you don't want people to know who's asking the question. We don't have to put your name out there like that. But our next show is, Keisha, do you have the date?
Yes, our next show is on the 21st, Wednesday, same time, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Meet us there. We shall see you then.
Yes. So we're officially now always on Wednesday evenings on the first and third Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. See how confident I was about that?
I know, right? First and third.
First and third Wednesday. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for our next Chat with You. Awesome. Good night.